Welcome back to Sparda Review. As you know, OPEC plus countries news ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ? Why? Because UAE has decided to exit from OPEC and OPEC plus countries. So from exam perspective now, what is OPEC ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ and what are the impacts on the world as well as India ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. So ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು? It was established in 1960 under Baghdad Conference. See, ಯಾಕೆ 1960 ನಲ್ಲಿ there was a need for one organization ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. See, before 1960 ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ all these Gulf countries ಅಲ್ಲಿ oil production was under the control of Western multinational oil companies. ಈ oil companies na we used to call it as seven sister companies. ಈ seven sister companies, they had complete control. Let it be supply, profits ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, they used to take the maximum share, revenue, ಯಾವ price ಅಲ್ಲಿ sell ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, everything was decided by the seven sisters company. So ಆವಾಗ this Gulf countries decided, see, we can't get exploited, ಒಂದು cartel ತರ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ. So they started this OPEC in 1960. ಇವಾಗ ಈ OPEC ನ objective ಏನು? The objective of OPEC is oil market stabilize ಮಾಡೋದು. ಏನಿದು oil market stabilization ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. See, whenever there is an high demand for oil, ಆವಾಗ ಈ countries will also increase the production. ಅಂದ್ರೆ supply increase ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ supply ಮತ್ತೆ demand ಗೆ ಒಂದು balance create ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So there won't be very high changes in the prices. ಈ ವಾಲಿಟಾಲಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್, ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಒಪೆಕ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಪೆಕ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ನೋ ದ ಫೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್. ಯಾರು ಈ ಫೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇರಾನ್, ಇರಾಕ್, ಸೌದಿ ಅರೇಬಿಯಾ, ಕುವೈತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೆನಿಜುವೆಲಾ. ಈ ಐದು ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಫೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್. ಮತ್ತೆ UAE ಯಾವಾಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಯ್ತು? ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 1967 UAE joined OPEC. So right now, as of 2026, 11 countries or 11 active members OPEC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. These are the 11 OPEC countries. 1973 tanka, this OPEC countries were not taken seriously by the world. Only after 1973, ಈ cartel na importance became well known. So ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಈ 1973 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ OPEC countries imposed an embargo. ಅಂದ್ರೆ they decided not to sell their oil to USA and Netherlands. ಯಾಕೆ USA, Netherlands and other countries ಅಂದ್ರೆ basically the countries which supported Israel. In Israel-Palestine war ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ countries supported Israel, ಆ countries-ಗೆ oil ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ they had decided. So that was the time when OPEC became very powerful. Now we'll see about OPEC plus. OPEC plus ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು? It was in 2016. ಯಾಕೆ there was already OPEC? ಯಾಕೆ there was need for OPEC plus ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. See, 2015-16 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ USA started dumping huge amount of shale oil in the market. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ there was volatility in the prices. ಇದನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ now important oil producing and storing countries came together to form OPEC plus. Illi, from exam perspective, you need to remember Russia is also the member of OPEC plus countries. These are the OPEC plus countries. So now we'll see why UAE is leaving OPEC. Nan agle ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ UAE joined in only 1967. For complete detailed analysis, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಂತ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗಝಿನ್ ಕೇರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪರ್ಧಾ ರಿವ್ಯೂನ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಇಟ್. ಜಾಯಿಂಡ್ ಇನ್ 1967. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಇದು 4th largest oil producing country and almost 11% of oil production comes from this country. OPEC 100% produce ಮಾಡುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 11% is from UAE. That is the importance of UAE. We'll see why UAE took this decision. The first point is restricted production quota. ಏನಿದು restricted production quota ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. See, OPEC countries ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is one concept called as quota. Each country should produce only certain level of oil. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ to control the supply and to maintain the balance. So ಅದೇ ತರ UAE ಕೂಡ there was a restricted quota, but UAE wants to increase the production. ಇವಾಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ UAE is producing 3.8 million barrel per day. This is as of now. Based on the quota, it is 3.8 million barrel per day. But UAE is focusing on 4.8 million barrel per day produce ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ they are focusing. By 2027, their aim is 5 million barrel per day. Yake, why they want to increase their production? Why? Because they are in the target of transforming their economy. Ivaga, they are like fuel-based economy, but within like 10 years, 20 years, ಅವರು knowledge economy ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ focus ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. What is this ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. See, now people depending on this fuel is becoming less. ಇವಾಗ many of the countries are focusing on renewable energy. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ UAE also to protect the economy, they are focusing on knowledge economy. ಇವಾಗ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ದೇ ಅರ್ನ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಈ ಎಕಾನಮಿಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ UAE has a long term plan. But OPEC is not supporting this. Next, there is a small conflict or the friction between UAE and Saudi Arabia. Both these countries are Sunni countries. Both these countries want to have regional power. Okay, regional powers agi established ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಆಸೆ ಇದೆ. And at the same time, Saudi Arabia is much stronger under OPEC than compared to UAE. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ UAE to increase the profit and so they have decided to come out of OPEC. These are the three important factors. Now we will see the UAE exit impact on the flow. Idina short term, long term and divide madana. See, in short term, many news channels are saying there will be drastic decrease in the prices. But that's satya illa. Yake, the Strait of Hormuz is blocked and at the same time, entire global market ge ashtu oil supply mado capacity kuda UAE illa. On a very short term, there won't be any much difference on the global oil market. Another very important point from short-term perspective in the the dependency on Strait of Hormuz will reduce. Yake, there is a pipeline called as Amshan Fujairah pipeline. Amshan the oil production starts in Amshan, then it will reach the Fujairah port. Fujairah port is not related to Strait of Hormuz. This port opening is to the Indian Ocean, so the dependency on Strait of Hormuz will reduce and the supply chain risk what we were talking adu kuda swalpa kadme agutte. So what will happen on the long run nodana. Long run alli production increases. As you know, production increase adaga the supply will increase and gradually price kuda reduce agutte. Price of fuel will reduce. Then what will this create? This will create competition. Price war. Price war shuru agutte. Enidu price war? See, many other oil producing countries will also try to increase their production. But their world market alli competitive agakke they will reduce their price. This will create price war. So, price war naditiradu for the first time? No, it had already happened in 2014-16. 2014-16 ali USA dumped huge amount of shale oil in the market. So, drastically the oil prices reduced. Per barrel was $110. That reduced to $30 per barrel. So, this is known as price war. This is the first point. But the second point, OPEC as a grouping will become very weak. Ivaga UAE ಆಚೆ ಬಂತು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ there are many other countries who are interested to come out of OPEC and increase their production. So the entire OPEC becomes weaker. There is one more concept called as global spare capacity. ಏನಿದು ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇರ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ? ಸಿ OPEC ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ದೇ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಫಾರ್ 30 days. Any extreme situation, okay, internationally any extreme volatile condition ಆದಾಗ they need to have oil for at least 30 days. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇರ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ 3 countries. ಆ 3 countries ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸೌದಿ ಅರೇಬಿಯಾ, ಕುವೈತ್ and UAE. So UAE ಗೆ ಇದು burden ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು and so UAE came out. Now even Saudi Arabia and Kuwait can also come out of this now. So this will weaken the entire OPEC and on long run it will create more oil volatility. Remember 85% of oil needs now import ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ and India is the third largest oil importer country. These two are two important facts. So the short term, long term ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. The first thing is cheap oil. We'll get oil at a cheaper rates. ಇದು it will have positive impact on our current account deficit. Okay, the spending what we do on oil that will reduce. But at the same time, inflation will also reduce. Inflation on food that will be most impacted. Fourth point is de-risking of supply chain. So in the de-risking of supply chain. So see, India was very much dependent on Strait of Hormuz trade route. But ivaga, when Fujairah route is opened up, India is going to have other alternatives. Mind you, UAE and India are in very good relation. So this will also help India to get a better bargaining powers. Long term there are few negative points also that we need to consider. First one is remittance. See, 38% of remittance ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಗಲ್ಫ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಿರೋದು. So long run ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the people who are employed, Indian people who are employed in Gulf countries, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ salary wages ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? Because the oil production prices has only decreased. Okay, so ಅಲ್ಲಿ these people may get less salary. This will have influence on our remittance. Remittance ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದಾಗ our demand for products, okay, will also become less. ಇದು ಒಂದು. The second one is sovereign wealth fund. Andre, see the FDI investments which were done by this Gulf countries, adu kuda gradually it may reduce. Yake the revenue what they're getting was only less. So this may impact our investments also. These are the few points that you need to remember. Next, please solve the questions. MCQ questions and solve mari. Correct answer na comment section ali comment mari. Thank you.